here's what's up with a lot of these new white kids now. They're finding out that they're not race one, that they're not privileged. Because white folks had a good run for 400 years. They had a damn good run being themselves, and they can't get mad.
Right now, like mass shootings have been happening. I know like you were stationed or residing in Denver where Columbine happened.
Yes.
Were you there around the Columbine time?
1999.
Wow.
Yep. That was the beginning of white insanity in the purest form. Yes. And they called themselves the trench coat mafia. Okay. In my observation, in my opinion, that kind of started the shit. It was the blueprint for young white insanity. Drugs, it wasn't breastfed, wasn't burped as a baby. All the elements is right there, man. And you never know what network or what frequency they're on to start that kind of shit. It's like once you see one, you do it other. People begin to be copycats. They want attention. Um, what's that record by Will Smith back in the day? Parents just don't understand. Parents don't get it. And when you leave your kids, when you don't give them the attention, when you leave them alone by themselves and not talk to them, it's amazing without conversation how they grow into something you know nothing about. And then the parents had the nerve to say, well, we didn't know what the kids were doing when they was getting guns together, making bombs. Oh, we didn't know little Jason was doing that. Jason is off the hook and his friends. And there's a word about the nigger and the black problem. The problem is right inside their house. And that was the beginning of the insanity. And I'm going to tell you, it's on. What next?
Yeah. I got a question for you.
Mm,
Because if you look at the timeline of mass shooters,
yes.
they all, or a majority that we know of, are like white males. Why don't you think black mass shooters exist, despite the fact that we have so much frustration and things that we, encounter day to day? Why haven't we decided to take that route?
Very good question. Because we're not like that. Black, we are a unique people. Our anger and stuff is in-house. We're an in-house people. We don't think that far to go to a school, to go to places, start shooting up places. We're on the corner, in the parking lot. It's always nigger shit. But we don't go to the mass. White folks be on some other frequency. They're on some other shit. Dr. Phil can't touch that one. Okay? We on some other shit, man. And you talk about also too, don't forget about the Aurora shooting at the movie theater when they did the Dark Knight Rises. Young white kid. That was at the Columbine. Okay? We gotta check out white kids. See, you have to keep in mind, in America, in our country, white society, we always been the butt of jokes. There's always been those people over there, those people over there, those niggas over there, but they never check out their own home. Now, for the white viewers that's watching this wonderful network, this is not an attack. This is a serious observation you need to check out. Check out your own home. For a long time in this history of ours, you've been busy looking out the window saying, that nigga, that black, that black. But you never check out the ones, you never turn around, look at your own home and say, oh, it's little Becky and little Johnny. That's the insanity right there. And you never check it. But then you send them off to these mountains. They always have places. What happened when white kids lose their mind? They got places to go to. They go to the mountains. They go somewhere out in Vermont. They go to Utah. They go to Montana. When black kids go crazy, they can't even go to Big Mama's house no more because Big Mama's house ain't there. It's torn down. So they stay there in the circle, but we're not. But when it comes to insanity, shooting up people, we're not that kind of people. Black people, people say, well, race doesn't matter. Yes, it does. It, our life and our sense of people was founded on race. If anybody tells you race don't matter, turn around, walk away. Yes, it does matter. Yes, it does matter because behind closed doors, each race talks about the other. When we come out of our place of residence and go in public, we got that smile on our face like we love everybody, got a flower on our head and shit. But meanwhile, when we get back to the crib, it's amazing what goes on when you get back in private conversation among your own people, talking about other people.
I have a question in regards to what you just said.
Mm.
When it comes to race, is it more an internal thing, or is it an upbringing thing? How someone was raised, um, to kind of further push this along. More so of, you see how black kids are raised.
Yes.
There's a lot of discipline. There's a
Yes.
lot of, no shit taking.
Mm-hmm.
Mama shut it down. Daddy shut it down if you get out of pocket. Compared to our whiter counterparts, they get out of line, they might get swatted on the hand, they might get some time out, they may not get disciplined at all. Do you think it has to do with our upbringing, or is it an internal thing?
Both. Both. It's internal. You don't. It's amazing what's inside of us, and each one of us have something different inside of us. And as a people, we don't study what's inside of us. Why? Because we're so busy looking on the outside. Eternal. It's internal, and we don't really address our personal conflict within because we never get time to check ourselves. We're so busy pointing, we don't check ourselves. The reason why I talk the way I do, I check myself. Okay. Now, when I was in my younger days, never did. But when you get older and when you realize things, you begin to look within. But you got to be a very strong person to look within because you may not like what you see once you are true to yourself. And once you wake up deep down and find out some stuff about you, your eyes get big, the size of buckwheat from the little rascals back in the day, because you shock yourself. Now, on the other tip, you said about it being inherited. That happens too. And what comes up with being inherited is not being, maybe nobody's paying attention to you. That comes into play too, when no one's paying you no mind in the household. So when people do stuff like that, go crazy, you got to look at who uh who are they around? Who are the elders? Or are there any elders around? So it comes in variation. It comes from the people they hang with, how they feel about themselves. But I'm gonna tell you something. This is the month of May. This is what mental illness month. Mental illness is in full effect. And all this crazy shit we see going on with human beings and their behavior, you ain't seen nothing yet. We were always worried about terrorists, talking about people. Well, look out for Middle East. Look out. No, no, look out next door. Look at your next door neighbor, because the world is in a frenzy right now. And this corona didn't help. This corona flipped the script. This shit changed everything. And that happened too. Keep in mind with the mental illness, job loss. A lot of people broke up out of relationships, lost their family. Some people even lost their natural homemade cotton picking mind. So that's what you're dealing with too. You're dealing with a lot of loss. And when I say LOST, that's on many levels. Mind loss, job loss, you lost your sense of self. You're in a world of shit.
See, because one thing they've been kind of pushing is, anytime these young white men have gone on to do these things, they'll say, oh, he was picked on, or he didn't have friends. That was the situation with Columbine. That was their motive. And yet I keep kind of asking that question, but why don't we see a lot of black mass shooters when we are picked on, disrespected, not acknowledged, and we don't retaliate in the grand scheme of things that way? That just,
John, look at our history. We were slaves. White people will always what they say them what they race one, race two. That's on paper. People don't know that. They call us minorities. That's what they call us, minorities. They study that. You're a minority. That's very offensive. What happens to a lot of these white kids? They come up in supremacy. They come up privileged, white skin. So when you come up privileged like that, you don't think about the downside. But here's what's up with a lot of white. Here's what's up with a lot of these new white kids now. They're finding out that they're not race one, that they're not privileged. Because white folks had a good run for 400 years. They had a damn good run being themselves, and they can't get mad. And real white people who have a sense of self will tell you that, well, I had a great run. Yeah, because white skin can take you a long way. It can take you a long way in blackness. When you white, you can go anywhere. We can't. Okay? You try being black and go to an all white neighborhood in the gated community and watch how fast security will show up when you come to that damn gate. Okay? But when you white, it's certain ways, certain doors is open for you on the automatic tip. So what happened with these new white kids now, what they're finding out, there's a rude awakening that their white privileges is not what it used to be. Because now you have so many other cultures, man. It ain't just white and black no more. You have all other cultures coming around now. Everybody's coming. I mean, black people, we better wake up because we're being replaced. They took away the cream of wheat man, took away Aunt Jemima. Okay, so be be careful what they're taking away because if you're not careful, they're gonna take away your ass, and that's what's happening right now. So a lot of things is we're going through a renovation. Okay, things ain't what it used to be. We're on some new shit right now, and on the way to that new shit is a new mindset, and you don't know what comes with that new mindset, and that's what we got to study. With this renovation of change, what's in that new mindset? And that's what we got to study.